Hey everyone, it's Cake. I was just hoping to make a short guide for Arma 3 Antistasi with Sammy and me. I'll try and make this as short as possible because it's a very complex game mode and game itself, so I'm just going to be covering all the important elements of what we're going to be doing, I think. If it ends up being too long, I'll have timestamps in the description for everything I'll go through. But yeah. So Arma 3 is a war simulation game. It has everything from infantry to sea to vehicles, armor, and aerial combat. So it's got all different kinds of aspects of warfare. And we'll be playing a game mode in it called Antistasi, which I'll go through later. If you don't have the game and you're interested in joining, I'd say buy it on Steam or buy it on CD Keys. If you're buying on CD Keys, keep a close eye on where it's redeemable for like EU or UK and what actually is included in the game. This and this includes the base game, and this one also includes a DLC, but which we're not going to be using. Yeah, if you want to join us, you can get it pretty cheap on CD Keys. As for the game, we're just going to be playing the base game plus one free DLC called Art of War, which I don't know what kind of impact it has, but it's free, so we're going to be using it. I also have Molten and civs, but they're unrelated to the game mode we'll be playing. It's just a free island and a free game mode. But yeah, so you just install the game, you launch it up. So after you load up the game, this is what you see. I'll have a link to the modpack we're going to be playing in the description. It's it's 9 very basic and simple modpacks or mods that we're going to be using. It's nothing too complex, but download that file. You'll go to the mods tab in the launcher. You'll go to presets. You'll press import, and then you just open the file you downloaded. It'll probably ask you to if you want to subscribe to all these mods. You just say yes, and it'll download them, it'll subscribe them, and it'll like save them like so. If it hasn't, if it's named imported preset or whatever, you can just give it a simple name, and then you can resave it. And then how you load them is you just click them, you know. But yeah, that's it. Then you're going to be opening the game with mods. Once you have the game open, you'll be going to multiplayer, server browser. You'll be going into direct connect. You'll be putting in the IP here to keep this default 2300.02. You just hit join. It'll find the server matching that IP. You just double click it, put in the password here, and press OK. As for roles, try and keep default commander and the team leader roles available for me or anyone who's going to be playing squad lead. Otherwise, just free pick of any of the other ones. That's completely fine. Rifleman, I think, just carries more regular ammo or more loot in general. Auto rifleman can probably carry more light machine gun belts. Grenadier has more grenades, can carry more explosives. Combat lifesaver revives people quicker. And engineer can repair and breach enemy vehicles. That's about it. Yeah, you'll pick a role. If it doesn't let you click here, you just click your name on the side, then you can fill in the role. Just click OK. These errors you can just skip through. They're very common. Some weird bug. Doesn't really affect anything. Yeah, when it comes to in-game communication, there's a chat box on dash. You pick different communication channels by pressing comma or period. We'll be sticking to either side channel for global communication or the group or direct. If you wanna talk proximity chat, you can use direct communication. Group communication is like a radio between your current group. So like I'm not in a group and Sammy and Emma are in a different group, for example. But yeah. So to chat, you just hit dash and it'll use that same channel you're typing in, just write something, whatever. And push to talk is on caps lock. So you can see bottom left, I'm talking now. To interact with stuff in Arma, it's a bit different to most other games. You walk up to something like this corpse, and you'll scroll wheel. You can see, I can say inventory. If I look at the gun, I can say pick up the gun, pick up the rifle. And then to confirm, you press space. I'll go through it really quickly. Like left side is stuff on the ground, or you can double click their vest and you can open their stuff. And then these are the 3 item carriers you have. So you can have you have a uniform, vest, and backpack. Helmet, glasses, night vision goggles, binoculars, rangefinder, weapon, launcher, sidearm. And you have a bunch of different stuff. This down here is your total inventory capacity. To use the compass, you hold K or you double click it, and it'll stick. The watch is on O. The map is on M. And vaulting is on V. To enter first person or third person, you press numpad enter. And you can zoom in with numpad plus and numpad minus and stuff like that. For enhanced movement, you're going to need to make a custom control keybind. So you open up controls, you go here, you go custom controls, and then use action 1. I'll recommend using left shift and space, and then that'll allow you to walk over to this, for example. So this is regular vault, which is kind of steps over a tiny fence, and this is enhanced movement, which is shift space, and it'll let you climb up on stuff or over things and onto buildings or containers and such. There's also a mod called CH view distance, which I believe for non-EU keyboards it's control hashtag, but for Nordic keyboards and I think EU keyboards it's control apostrophe, and this will basically allow you to change the view distance as you're playing, depending on what you're in. Very handy if you need to see something beyond the fog, but you can turn it down to save your frames, you know. So what is Antistasi? Antistasi is a complex, in-depth dynamic mission for Arma 3. Basically, we are the green faction. We're a rebellion inside of a major government, the blue faction. They own the game starts off with the blue faction owning the entire island, and we'll have like one tiny headquarters that we can pick anywhere on the map to spawn or to start. As we're playing over multiple days, there's an invading faction, typically referred to as the Russians or whatever, and they'll come in and they'll try and also capture the entire island. And the goal of the game is to capture majority of the island through the towns or enemy factions or enemy outposts or air bases. So it's a struggle to keep the Russians from taking majority of the island, and also for you to try and take more land. As you can see in our current save, we have pretty advanced stuff. We have helicopters, we have AI units with launchers, we have high power rifles and ghillie suits. But when we start the game, we'll have basically nothing. We'll have a few SMGs, hand grenades, and that's about it. And we're going to be using guerrilla warfare tactics. Common stuff such as hit and run, like hit an enemy outpost really fast, steal all the shit you can before reinforcements show up, before any APCs, helicopters, paratroopers show up, and bail and bring the stuff back to base. Once you bring back a set amount of items of the same kind, you'll unlock them infinitely. When you're in the HQ, avoid shooting if you can. If we're being attacked, by all means shoot, of course, but avoid, like, because the game mode is in depth, as in like the enemy AI will try and figure out where our headquarters location is and send special ops units after us to try and kill a commander. If that happens, we'll likely relocate to a different area to avoid more frequent attacks. As part of our headquarters, so we have a, I guess he's like leader, commander or whatever, called Petros. He is the most vital part of our headquarters. If he dies and we don't have enough money, the game ends. If he dies and we have enough money, we can relocate. But he is the most important thing to keep safe, which is why we don't want to reveal our headquarters location. So keep him alive at all costs. You can also mission request from him. So I can say I want a assassination mission. It'll show up here in the task. Kill the traitor. I can press locate, or I can just scroll over and find the icon. It'll have a description of what you need to do. Avoid killing any prisoners of war, avoid killing civilians, because that will negatively impact us by making the NATO force more aggressive. They'll send in stronger units, they'll send in more units to try and squash us. There's also the weapon arsenal. If you scroll and you hit arsenal, you can basically pick and customize your loadouts. I won't go into too much detail, but basically on the left you have each slot your unit can carry. So you can pick a rifle, you can pick attachments on the right side here. You can pick launchers, attachments, pistol attachments. And then when it comes to uniforms, vests, and backpacks, the way it works is whatever you have selected here, on the right side is what you can put inside that like item holder. So the first tab here is magazine for current selected weapons, which means if you have a pistol equipped, it'll show ammo for that specific pistol. It'll show ammo for the rifle and launcher they carry. Here you can pick any kind of ammo you want, so if you're picking up ammo for anyone else, you can find it here. Any kind of grenades, explosives, and then miscellaneous. So I recommend you pick up a handful of first aid, like, I don't know, 3 to 5, whatever. And then you fill up your vest with ammunition and a few grenades. And that's about it. And then you can save your loadout at the bottom here. You just give it a name, click save. And you can also load it quickly after you die. When it comes to picking weapons, please try... There will be exceptions, but please try and stick with stuff we only have infinite amounts of. So, for example, we'll start with these 2 SMGs, but if we unlock this sniper infinitely, for example, feel free to use that as much as you want. But if we're just hitting a simple outpost, you know, like we'll bring in our basic gear, that what we have infinite of, and if you're hitting like an airfield, we'll probably bring snipers that we don't have infinite of, but will be a huge advantage in taking the airfield. At enemy airfields and outposts, there will be a weapons cache that we can load into a car like this. You can unload a cargo, it'll drop on the floor. You can load it back in, space and shit. And then when you come back to base, the goal of this is to then bring it back to base, and then you can transfer it from the arsenal, from this box into our arsenal really easily using vehicle transfer cargo. So I hit this base and it'll move it all into this box. It'll also empty the car's cargo. You might have to do it 2 times, I think, once for the box and then second time for the vehicle cargo. But after that, you can just carry it to the vehicle and you have it for later. This is the vehicle crate. This is where you can open the garage. You can spawn any vehicle we have. You just click one of them on the side here. You click confirm. And then you can rotate Q and E and click cancel or escape to cancel or space to place it. To put it back in the garage, you have to be near the headquarters, near a flag. And then you can just press Y on it and you can press garage vehicle. You can also heal any nearby units here. If they're down next to the flag, it'll get them back up. It'll unmark any vehicles that have been marked as not undercover or as enemy vehicles. In the garage, you can also pick the off-road truck, for example, here. Then you can say mount. We have 3 mortars, for example. I can load a mortar into the back. That means you can drive around and someone can actually shoot the mortar in the back of the car. You can paint the car. You can customize it with taking off bumpers, taking off doors, whatever. Depends on the vehicle. You can also select different weapon pylons. So if it's a jet or a helicopter, for example, you'll be able to pick what kind of weapon you want to put on it. There's also the interactive Y menu, where you can fast travel, you can give players money, transfer money to players. If you're wearing civilian clothing and no visible weapon or backpack, you can go undercover. Actually, I think you can have a backpack, but while you're undercover, enemies won't shoot you on sight. If you get too close to like an outpost, for example, you seem suspicious, or the vehicle has been flagged as an enemy vehicle, then the enemies will, of course, open fire on you as they see you. You can build stuff. You can build like trenches, bunkers, and roadblocks. You can garage your vehicles. You can unlock vehicles to let other people use it. In the rare event that you're playing on the server without anyone else who knows how to be captain or commander, then you can click on this and then you can say resign, and it won't put you as commander. It'll pick someone else. I'll prefer that you leave the commander role to me or Sammy, someone who knows what they're doing, because the commander role can be pretty important as to clean up and protect locations. Like I've covered earlier, we'll probably be playing as separate squads. So let's say Sam is or M is a squad leader, I'm a squad leader. We'll have 2 separate squads in here. You can access this menu with you, and you can create your own squad. You can invite people to join your squad. So I say we'll try and keep it so if there's a squad leader, he'll have people join his group, and then we'll keep them separate. And that means you can use the group chat to talk to each other in your squad only, and then you can use the side channel for communicating with the rest of the server. If everyone leaves the server, it'll stay online. It'll just pause the mission so nothing happens. And if you're playing without me or Sammy or any of the quote-unquote veterans of Antistasi are playing, just be careful not to ruin our situation too much. Like, don't use very expensive supplies unless it's to defend the base. Avoid playing if you're only 2 to 3 people online. Try and have more people online so you can help each other and try and defend the headquarters or go to take outposts. Otherwise, it'll be very difficult. But yeah, there's autosaves every 30 minutes. So if you feel like you fucked something up completely, have everyone leave. Message me either through Discord or on Steam or whatever, and just let me know, like, oh, can you shut down the servers, and I won't save, and then we'll just revert to what happened, or to the last 30 minutes. Yeah. I think that pretty much covers everything. If this goes well and if people liked it, we will definitely do it again. We'll play a different map. We might expand with other mods. There's more realistic mods, as in real life factions. So like the U.S. Air Force, the Russian army, Afghanistan armies, and stuff like that. So like more true to life vehicles and weaponry and units and uniforms and stuff. There's also a very in-depth JSRS sound mod. There's also a very cool JSRS sound mod that really adds the realness of gun sounds and airplanes and explosions. A map called Blast Core, which just makes all explosions like more pretty, more impressive to look at. And for this specific server, we've tried to keep the mods very basic. So it's purely like it's scripting stuff. There's no added content or whatever. However, me and Sammy have tried a mod earlier called Task Force Radio, which adds very cool and realistic working radios, which makes it a lot more immersive. It has the radio sound effect on voice chat. You'll only be able to communicate with your squad within certain ranges, and squad leaders can communicate using long-range radios across the entire map, I think, or something like that. But I think that was too complex to get into the first time around. But hopefully, if people are interested, we might expand to that and have a good time, But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll probably reply to them with what I know. I'm not an expert in Antistasi, but I do know a fair bit. Yeah, hope you have fun. See you around.